Hello, well, today we're going to start with section 1-1 of Math 095. And this is the title of the section is Where Does the Time Go? But basically it's learning how to graph data, pie charts and bar charts, how to draw them and how to read them. So let's look at this first example under applications. So according to this National Pet Owner Survey conducted by this Pet Product Association, 65% of the households in the United States have at least one pet. This first table shows the percentage of households that have each of the most popular pets. Now, this second table shows the results of a poll done by a public policy place in 2013, different people, different year, in which the respondents were asked which of the following exotic animals would you most likely to have? And here are their choices: alligator, dinosaur, etc. So they could pick one. All right, so question number 1 says, which data set best illustrates with a pie chart? And explain why you feel that way, and then draw the pie chart. All right, so this second data, the data about the exotic animals, best is displayed in a pie chart because people could only pick one animal. So the total here is going to add up to 100%, and that's what you want with a pie chart. A pie chart means a percentage of the whole. If we were to look over here, some houses had more than one type of animal. With this data, does not add up to 100% because respondents could pick 2 or more animals. So the exotic animal result is perfect for a pie chart. They got to pick one that they would most like to have. All right, so now we're going to fill in the pie chart. Let's take a look at this sample grid that they've given us. It's a complete pie. Right here is 100 degrees. Here's 90 degrees. Here's 180 degrees. Here's 270 degrees. And of course, back up here is another 360. A full circle has 360 degrees. So eventually we want to use up with this data all 360 degrees. So first of all, let's look at alligator. Alligator was 6%. So 6% of 360. We want to figure out how many degrees we want for alligator. So 6%, rather than writing it as a percent, we're going to write it as a decimal. So we move, here we have the 6, we move the decimal point over 2. So 6% would be written as 0.06. This is 6/100ths, or 6%. The word of, in this case in math, is multiply 360. Now you're going to use your calculators a lot in this class. So we're going to go here and we're going to say, oh, sorry, it's kind of reflective there, 0.06 times 360. And that's 21.6. So 21.6 of the degrees would be the piece of the pie for alligators. All right, so let's keep moving. We're going to have to do this for all of our options. Let's look at dinosaurs. 18% of 360. I'm going to change the percent to decimal. The word of means multiply. And 18% of 360.18 times 360 is 64.8 degrees. So 64.8 degrees of this pie will be our alligator slice of the pie. We're going to do the same for elephant. Elephant is 16% of 360. This is like our English representation, and then our mathematical symbols is the second line here. We're translating this expression into, or we're translating these words into this expression. So 0.16 of 360 is 57.6. Giraffe, 20% of 360. We could do 0.2 or 0.20. And that's going to be 72 degrees. Let's go over here for 14% polar bear. 14% of 360 degrees. 0.14 of 360 is 50.4. And last, tigers. Tigers, 26% of 360. This is going to be the number of the degrees for the tiger slice. 0.26 times 360. You'll be doing this on your calculator. I actually have it all calculated out beforehand. Is 93.6 degrees. All right, so these are how many degrees each of the slices are. So we're going to start at 0 and go around. Now this grid has very light ticks every 10 degrees. So this is 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and of course then we have 90 degrees. So like right here would be 180, 190, 200, 210, that would be 220 degrees. We're going to use this kind of as our grid, and we're just sketching this now because we have decimals here. So let's go ahead back and start with our alligators. Alligators is going to take up 21.6. So this one's the easy one. We start at 0 and we're going to go to 21.6. 10, 20 to right about there. So 6% of the respondents goes to 20.6 degrees. That's our tigers. I'm sorry, that's our alligators. So now we want to have a 64.8 degree slice for our dinosaurs. So I'm going to do this work. We're not starting at 0 for the rest of these. So we have to figure out what our starting point is. So on the side here, of course, alligators, 0 plus 21.6, that's going to stop at 21.6 degrees. But now for dinosaurs, dinosaurs will start at 21.6, and we want to go for 64.8 degrees. 21.6 plus 64.8, so we're going to end at 86.4 degrees. For our next one, we're starting at 86.4 degrees, and we're going to go 57.6 degrees. So when we start at 86.4 and add 57.6, that's going to 144 degrees. For our next exotic animal, we're starting at 144, and that slice is going to be 72 degrees, so that's going to end at 216. Our next one starts at the 216 degree mark, and we're adding 50.4, so that's going to end at 266.4 degrees. I've calculated all of this ahead of time, but you would use your calculator to add these values. And then our last slice starts at 266.4 and it goes for 93.6 degrees. And we hope that this adds up to 360 because we want this to be a complete circle. So 266.4 plus 93.6, yep. This one's going to start at 266.4 degrees and end at the top of my circle, which is 360. So we're going to use our ticks here to estimate where our ending point is. Our second piece ends at 86.4 degrees. 10, 20, 30, 40, let me go this way. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 86.4 goes to about there. And I'm going to say that's 18%, and that is dinosaur. And now we're starting at 86.4 and we're ending at 144 degrees. So here's 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 144 is about there. And we're going to say that that's 16%, and that 16% is elephant. Our next animal would be the giraffe. Giraffe starts at 144 and ends at 216. So here's 180, 190, 200, 210. That would be 220. That's too big. Here's 216. And so for a giraffe, that's a 20% slice. Just two more here. Polar bear starts at 216 and goes to 266.4. So here's 270. That would be 260, going down 10, but then up to about 266. And so that's 14% of the pie, and that's my polar bear. And now starting at degree 266.4, a 93 degree piece of the pie is going to go up to 360. And so that's 26% of the pie, and that's my tiger. So it's very important that you know how to create a pie chart. Now let's go and create, the next question says, which data set best illustrated by a bar graph? Well, a bar graph, that's when people can select more than one option in their survey, or if their percentages don't add up to 100%, that's a good use of a bar chart. And so explain why we feel that way, because some people had more than one type of animal, and now we're going to draw our bar chart. By the way, one thing I did not do, which is important, is you should always title your graphs. So we'll title this Exotic Animals. You could give it a more descriptive title if you wanted. Percentage of households that would most desire exotic animal, but we want to make sure we do have a title. So here we're going to call this Household Pets. That's going to be our title. And for a bar chart, now this is going to use our second set of data, which is this data right here. So what are our categories? We have bird, we're going to have our different, we have bird, we have cat, We have dog. Some people might have a horse. A lot of people have fish, and then reptile. So each of these categories is going to be represented by a bar. And we get to pick the axis here. We get to pick where we start and where we end. Well, of course, we'd want to start with 0. They don't have that animal. And as we look at our data, we go up to 50. Our biggest number is 54.4. So we want to at least have 55 on this list. So if we go by tens, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, let's go by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And these would be percentages of households that have that type of animal. So we go ahead and we look at bird, and 6.1% of people have a bird. So if this is 10, 6.1 is about there. How about a cat? Cat is 42.9. So here's 40. So 42.9 would be kind of just above 40. There's my cat bar. Dogs, 54 point, so that's going to 54.4. That's almost 55. That's going to be right about there. Horses. Only 2.5% of the houses have horses, so about a quarter. 2.5 of 10 is there. Fish is 13.6, so a little more than 10, not quite 15. Maybe to there. And reptiles, snakes, I guess, iguanas, 4.9, almost 5. So that would be my bar chart for percentage of household pets.